Okay, so on this video, I'm going to show you how to factor when there's several steps involved. We call it factor completely or multi-step factoring, something like that. So the first thing you want to look for is if there's a greatest common factor. So on this first one, there's a 6 out in front. So you want to check and see if you can divide everything by 6. So you take your calculator and take 84 divided by 6 and 270 divided by 6, and it does come out even. So you're going to factor out a 6, leaving you with p squared minus 14p plus, I got to double check this, 270 divided by 6 is 45. Then what you're left with on the inside also factors. So you're going to make your x, you're going to put 45 up here, you're going to put negative 14 in there. And so your two numbers that you need are a negative 5 and a negative 9. So this is going to factor into p minus 5 and p minus 9. And then the 6 is going to come down because we factored it out at the beginning. So that's going to be our answer. If we take 6 times p minus 5 and p minus 9, we would get our original problem. So on number 2, you're going to try to factor out a 5. And so you're going to have v squared minus 4v minus 21. And so you're going to factor that. You're going to have a negative 21 and a negative 4. So that's going to be a negative 7 and a positive 3. So v minus 7 times v plus 3, and then you bring your 5 down, and that's going to give you your final answer. Okay? So this means multiply, but you don't have to write a little dot there or a multiply sign because it means multiply if it's written right outside that parentheses. Okay, so same thing on number 3, factor out the greatest common factor. So you start with a 3. It looks like 3 goes into all of them. So that's going to give you 25r squared minus 30r plus 9. And then from yesterday, you would hopefully recognize that you've got a perfect square on the 25 and a perfect square on the 9. So that would give you 5r minus, because we got a minus in the middle, minus 3. And another 5r minus 3. But remember, we have to double check to see if it fits in the middle. And so 5 times 3 is 15, which is half of 30. So it does fit. So this is correct. And then you bring down your 3. And so that would be your answer. If you wanted to write it as 3 times 5r minus 3 squared, that would also be correct. You could write it either way. Okay, so on number 4, 15 is 5 times 3, and 3 doesn't go into those, so 5 is all you can take out. So that leaves you with a 3x squared plus, and if you take 160 divided by 5, you get 32. So plus 32x plus 20. And so now this middle thing, or the thing that's left, is something you've got to factor with slide divide. You've got to take 3 times 20 and get 60, and then put 32 down here. So you're trying to find numbers that multiply to 60 and add to 32. So that's going to be a 30 and a 2. So you start by writing x plus 30 and x plus 2, but then we have to divide by the 3. So divide by 3, divide by 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10, so this becomes x plus 10. 2 divided by 3 is a decimal, so we do bottoms up and make that 3x plus 2. And then we can't forget the 5. The 5 goes out in front. So that is our final answer for number 4. Okay, for number 5, we start doing something, well, we don't start doing something different, it just ends up different. We're going to factor out a 3, and so that leaves us with 9x squared minus 25. So what we're left with just factors differently. This is a difference of two squares, like we also learned yesterday. If you have a square minus b square, it factors into a minus b times a plus b. So this factors into 3x minus 5 and 3x plus 5. On number 6, 5 goes into all of them because 5 is your smallest number there, so that's the most you could take out. So you start with 5, and that gives you 16a squared minus 8a plus 1. And we have a perfect square at the front and a perfect square at the back. So we're going to start with 4a minus 1. And we hope that it works. So we would have 2 of them if it does, but you have to double check. You got to take 4 times 1, and that's 4, which is half of 8a. So it does fit your pattern. Remember, this middle number has got to be twice as big as whatever that is. And then you've got your 5 out in front. So your answer is 4a minus 1 times 4a minus 1 times 5. Number 7 is a difference of 2 squares. You need to remember here that x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. So when you break this one down the first time, you get x squared minus 9 and x squared plus 9. Now then this part breaks down again. It breaks down into x plus 3 times x minus 3, and x squared plus 9 doesn't break down anymore because it has a plus in between it. It just won't factor. It has to have a minus to break down into 2 parts. So this is as far as this one will go. So this is the same idea. It breaks down to x squared minus 25 and x squared plus 25 because, if you don't know this, 25 squared is 625. So make a list of those on your factor sheet if you need to. Then this part breaks down again. It breaks down into x minus 5 times x plus 5. And then this just comes down. It doesn't factor anymore. X squared plus 25. Then number 9 is a misprint. 9 and 10, I meant to type 16x to the 4th minus 1. And this should have been 16n to the 4th minus 625. And you'll see why here in a second. Break this one down. It's 4x squared minus 1 and 4x squared plus 1. If I didn't break it, if I didn't type it as x to the 4th, if I would have left it as x squared, that would have been 4x minus 1 and 4x plus 1. And that doesn't break down anymore. And I wanted this note sheet to be things that broke down twice. So this one now breaks down into 2x minus 1 and 2x plus 1 and 4x squared plus 1. Remember, the 4x squared plus 1 doesn't change. So this one is 4n squared minus 25 and 4n squared plus 25. And then this breaks down again into 2n plus 5, 2n minus 5, and then this stays 4n squared plus 25. Okay, so that's how you factor when there's multiple steps involved. When you factor the first time and then one of the pieces factors some more. So you want to keep going until there's nothing left that will break down any further.